Hey everybody, this is Anthony again. Welcome to Site Farm Deep Cuts. So we're gonna go over how to do some um, spacing and margin padding, whatever you want to call it, spacing outside, spacing inside. Basically, how to take all your components in Layout Builder and space them so they look nice. So we're gonna start by adding some content. And of course, basic page, because that's our layout builders configured with. We're going to say our awesome demo of spacing in layout builder. All right. For time being, I'm going to leave all this stuff blank. I am, for fun, going to add a primary image. We're going to set this to no sidebars, and we're going to go ahead and save this. So, ta-da, we've got basic page ready to be laid out. And if we go to layout, you'll notice that there is already some stuff, a section with some stuff. If I had put content in the body field, document field, or tags field, it would already be showing up on the page since those fields were not filled out. It is not. So we're just gonna get rid of that for now. We don't need it. We're gonna start from total scratch here. So let's see, let's do this. I'm going to, for the sake of time, I'm going to import my super cool layout start state. And so this is all basically just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections, including the body section, which again, we probably don't need. So this is 5 sections and, or hold on, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 sections, 5 sections, 5 sections. And if we save this, and I'm going to go ahead and just open this in another browser window that's not logged in so we can see the spacing as it would appear to somebody who's just viewing the site. So let me pull that up real quick. So here's our super awesome layout. And as you can see, the alignment spacing is not super awesome, right? So we've got some really nice blocks, but they don't look nice the way they are currently. So let's figure out how to do that. So again, for the sake of time, I'm going to go back to my layout and I'm going to say, look, I'm just going to reverse engineer this. We're going to go ahead and start from a state that is everything looking nice, and I'm going to show you how I made it look nice. So we're going to remove these. And here we go. We're going to re-import from our library, and this time we're going to go super cool complete. So you'll see that these are all now kind of laid out. There's some background colors and the header block is turned on there, or the header section is turned on. We have some more layout, some interesting stuff here. So yeah, let's save this real quick. And again, just to show you what this looks like from someone logged out, we've got this, our primary image, our title, this nice alignable promo. We've got this section here with these great little link tiles, another alignable promo that is set to go the opposite direction. So we got this one flushed left and this one flushed right. And then we've got a marketing highlight horizontal overlay and some content. And then we've got some focal links. So this is a really great little layout. How did we do it? So let's go look at that. Going back to our layout, you will notice that if we edit, that we're going to skip this stuff for now. I just want to show you the vertical spacing. So there's a lot of little vertical spacing. If you can't get it to look right with just setting, because when you don't check this, you get default. You can set the outside and the inside. So the outside is outside of your thing, outside of your section, and the inside of your section is the spacing inside of your section. So you'll see that I have it all set to default here, except for the bottom, because when you start a page, you don't need a lot of white space there. You could add a little extra white space there. It wouldn't hurt, but I think there's not a lot of good reason for a big white space there. So let's just start on it. It helps with the above the fold part of design. You know, this is a pretty big page. You know, I'm on a pretty big monitor and I still can barely see the first bit of content. So I'm trying to keep things sort of above the fold. But I did add a huge space there that kind of matches the space at the top of this one, this next section. So you'll see that our next section has large set for inside and outside the content. So what that means is that there is some large spacing here and some large spacing there. And again, looking at our thing, that is this space here and this space there. So I think we might have some what's called margin canceling going on, since I've got the top one set to huge as well. So that's possible, but I essentially just went through these and set them to whatever looked right. And if it wasn't enough, I just added more, and it was too much, I added less until I got everything the way I wanted it. So, and in some cases I set just the top and bottom, or the outside inside, the same thing. And some of these I had to go and set them individually. So yeah, like this one, outside huge, inside default, that seemed to work fine for that particular section. Oops. Coming down here, we've got, outside huge, inside default. Maybe that's what we're just looking at. This one, we've got outside medium, inside huge. And then down here, since this is the last one, we've got the outside bottom set to small and the outside top set to huge. So we'll talk about the very last section last. So we're gonna go up to the top. The other thing to look at, I want to take a look at, is the horizontal containment. So you'll see that we have the option to contain our content, to make our content narrow, or to make our content edge to edge. So currently it is contained. What that means is our content, this one happens to sort of squish itself a little bit. So this is our container. And inside of this, these dotted lines you can kind of see on the left and right is our section. Oh, this blue bar is our section. So our section is this, but our content is just contained. This is fine. This looks good. It might not look good with other blocks, but let me show you something. So we have, in the appearance settings, we have a way to turn on a background color. So I'm going to turn on blue, and we'll see what happens. So there you go. Our alignable promo has a white background over a blue background. So that's not ideal, right? So what we can do is, if we don't want, all blocks by default have a white background. If we don't want the white background, you can go to appearance and remove the default colors from this block. Now, there's some helper settings here. For some reason, after you turn this off, it doesn't look right. You can use this light text on dark background or dark text on light background to try and make the contrast of the text stand out a little better on certain colors. But for now, we're going to just look at the default and see what that looks like. So there we go. It got rid of my background, but because my background is no longer white, those colors no longer are accessible contrast on this dark blue. So you can see that my block is actually adjusted to work, to have appropriate accessible color contrast. But you can also see that, again, I've got this blue background and it's sitting on this white background. So that's not always what you want, right? So we can do narrow, which is another setting. And what that'll do is it actually makes this section even more narrow. So you can kind of do like a branded block sort of thing with your blocks doing this. But another thing you do if you want to do like a full width colored background is you can set it to full width, and you'll see that the whole thing is now full width. But we also have these settings for gutters. So what this does is it allows you, now that our section is the full screen width, our content is going to go the full screen width unless we contain it somehow. So currently we have no gutters, so our content's going to go fill the whole width. So if we set it to contain, what that does is it kind of gets us back to where we started, except with a colored background. So our content is now contained within the normal bounds of the web page. Usually the normal bounds of the web page sort of line up with the header and stuff, but not this particular header. Anyway, so also we can go to narrow, so we can kind of do what we did above, which is now we've got this full with colored background, but our content's a little narrower. So so lots of configuration options there, and lots of things you can do to try and get your content to do what you wanted to do within a particular section. I'm going to set this back to that. I'm going to turn off the colored background. We're just going to leave that like it was. Our next section is section 2, and what I did with this one from its default state was add a colored background, that dark blue. I'm a big fan of alternating between white and some sort of branding color. You can do a branding color against a branding color, and I can certainly try and show you that if we have time. But this section, I turned on the color, I knocked out the white backgrounds, and I said, full width, please. Go ahead and contain my content, and show the header. So there's a checkbox here. Click this box. Check this box if a header region should be added to the above columns. And so what that did is it added a header region. And I can actually add more than one block to this header region, but I only added one. And what I added was a basic block with no content. I told it to display the title. I gave a title. And then we have all these block title styles. And we have one called center underline. So this is sort of designed for this sort of use case where you have this big full width thing and you want a title centered. So we're going to leave that there. But that's how I got that. You can turn it off. But if you turn it off after you've put content there, it's going to give you a message, or it's supposed to give you a message letting you know that you've got content there. I swear I've seen it. Let's see. There it is. So it's going to warn you. It's a warning. You have content in the header region, but you've hit it via config. You should probably remove the content. So this is so you don't forget stuff there. I don't know if there might be a negative effect of that. I would assume we have a warning for a good reason. So, oh, I have content there. I didn't mean to do that. Why don't we just turn it back on? So another fun setting, which you might have saw just below that, was remove the gaps. So we've got these four tile links, and what that does, if we say remove the gaps between columns so that they touch, that will allow us to remove the gaps, and now we have these guys touching. And here, let's save this layout real quick. And I am going to come over here, and we are going to just sort of hover over. See that now they've lost their gaps, and this doesn't work, probably doesn't look good with everything, but it certainly looks good with these. So, you may have seen this layout actually again on the UC Davis edu site, where they have marking these link tiles that are sort of all butted up against each other. So that's kind of a nice effect. I like it. So that's how you would do that. I'm going to go back to that, and we can just leave that on. I think that looks nice. I don't think there's any reason for us to change that at the moment. Again, another alignable promo section. Again, maybe we want this one to be a little bit more contained, so we set it to contain, and now it's a little narrower. Maybe we want it to contain, but that doesn't look good to us, so maybe we remove a little bit of this text, or we refactor the text so that it's a little shorter. And so now we've got it making a little sense. Maybe there's too many buttons. Maybe we say, all right, well, we only want the one button. Now it's a little bit more manageable. There we go. That looks nice. And then we've got another colored section. So again, this doesn't have to be blue. I just put them in blue because I thought it was nice. Let's say we want rec pool. So we've got rec pool. I don't know if I like that with the orange button. So maybe we pick a different color. Let's go with like bodega. It's not a nice one. There we go. That looks nice. So we've got a nice marketing highlight horizontal overlay and some content. This is just a basic block with a header and a list and a button. And you'll notice that they're kind of not equal. So this was the 2-column. And when you use some of these layouts, they come with a column width selector. By default, this one was 50/50. So you'll see there it is, 50/50, but you can certainly change it to whatever you think looks good. So in this case, I like 67/33. I set it. And ta-da, 67/33. So we got a nice little layout there. Let's see. This might be a good spot to talk about just a fun little tool in your toolbox. Hopefully we have a better way to do this at some point. But at the moment, if I import from my library, say my marketing highlight or overlay section, and I want, let's pretend I just created a new section and I put in a marketing highlight horizontal overlay, and I say, you know what, I want 2 of them here. It's gonna take me like another couple minutes to type out this whole thing. Why can't I just like copy paste this thing here? Well, unfortunately, there's not a copy paste and there's not a clone feature, but what you can do is if you have this thing saved into a layout or a layout with one of these saved in it, you can just sort of bring it in real quick, say, all right, well, give me another one of those. And let me just grab this and drop it in this region. And no, thanks, I don't need that anymore. Haha, look at that. I got myself two marketing horizontals, and now I can just come in here and change the configuration real quick. Maybe I want to change the image. Sure. Maybe I want to change the image. Maybe I want to change the branding. So there we go. Real quick change. So that's that. We have, I'm going to delete this section because we don't need it. So the last section is this, and we're going to delete this because we're not using it. So this is the last section on our page. Now, I suggest you always end, if you're doing these full width sort of banner, full edge to edge sort of sections stacked on top of each other, I suggest you always end with white, and here's why. The layout builder gets output through the node output or main content region, which is why we knocked out the sidebar so that the main content region goes full width. But there is a little bit of white that's added to the above the footer of the website it's there because there are other regions besides the footer that are able to output here. It's just part of the system. It's there, and I'll show you what I mean. Like if I added a background to this section, let's say, I don't know, let's do double decker, and let's knock out our backgrounds. That's fine. So there we go. We also want to do edge to edge, and we'll contain our content. So now we've got that, and oh well, it's pretty, there's no spacing there. So on the inside I want large, and on the outside I want huge, and on the inside I want large, and on the outside bottom, let's just leave it small for the time being. You can see that if I save this, come over here, that there's some white there. And even if I do this, there's a setting for the inside outside here that is outside bottom. If I set this to remove space, so let's say I try to remove it completely, and save it, it still isn't quite all gone. It's close, but there's still a little something there. So this is why I suggest you just use white for the background of your last section if you can, because you're not going to be able to get rid of that. If you start filling with CSS in like the theme appearance, you're going to end up screwing up other parts of the website. So it's just best for now to just do that, except that your last section is going to need to be white unless you're doing some serious custom theming. The other thing is, you notice that we had that setting for no space outside, and what that's handy for is if, say, you have two colored sections and you want them to butt up against each other. So what you can do is, in this section we can say inside section bottom remove space, and we'll go down here and we'll say inside section top or outside section top remove space, and update, save layout. And we should now, got a little something. It's almost there. I see some space. So what's going on there? Let's see. We've got removing inside section top bottom. Let's just do this like medium, large, remove space. One is space. That should work. There we go. So yeah, so you can see you can actually create, like if you want to do a page that's a couple of different colors seamlessly, maybe you wanted a red background, blue background, red background, you can do that. And you can get rid of all the space in between. And in this case, you'd probably want to add some more space in to the inside below this so that that sort of matches the space above the components in this section. But yeah, so there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do, and this stuff really does look good even in mobile, you know. Components are great, you know. So I think this is just amazing, and I hope that this was helpful in sort of understanding what all those spacing, all that configuration, why all that configuration is there, and how it's really there to help you really build pretty well aligned and spaced layouts that kind of do what you want and give you the tools you need to sort of replicate a lot of the branding layouts that you've seen, and layouts that, and hopefully you can create some really great layouts that you can share in the future with people. So I'm looking forward to continuing to work on this, and thanks for your time.